What's going on, gang? What is going on? Oh, we have a donor already. Victor Dela Cruz, thank you so very much for that generous dono, man. Right off the get, too, man. Thank you, man. Happy Saturday night, everybody. Hope you're all doing well. Let's see who we got in here. We got Adam Davila, Salt of the Earth. Love that name. It was good. Richard Vasquez, Chris Widener, Michael Shin. What is good? Will the Yankees sign Trevor Story on a short term to play shortstop? Trade Torres, then Story moves to second base when Vogt becomes. It's possible. It is possible. The opt-outs, I think, will be the likeliest way to get him. Let me finish up roll call here really quickly. Franchise Jay's in the house. Mike, what's good, man? Kyle Gibbs, Fritz Walter, Anthony Ranger. What is happening, my gang? We'll get to you all. Aaron Blum, Dominic's in the house. Mazza, there he is. Hope you had a good night with the missus, man. Cashman some deals, some prospects. And they might have to go for Wilson Contreras now. He might represent a little bit of a need. Ben Wartburg's got a grade 1 abdominal oblique strain. It's not the worst. Grade 1 is, the better of the bunch of them, but it's still going to be out a little bit. Fritz, see you, Michael. Thank you again for that dono, Victor. I appreciate that, man. Gerald's in the house. Gerald's up in the house. Hirsch is here. We got the whole crew, man. Ola's in the house. What's good? One of the OGs right here. Jim Duggan. Daniel Mancini. What's happening? Jay Luck. Jin Yin. Thinking of Dre. We'll get to that. We'll get to Torres. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's happened since the last time we've been on here. Trey's in the house. A lot of stuff. Scungili's here. Ton. If I missed you, my apologies. I will try to get to everybody. But just keep the comments coming. Lori C's here. Hello, Lori. Zapper's in the house. There he is. Udo. Shalom, buddy. What's good, man? Ben Miner's here. All right, man. So, yeah, I mean, a lot's happened, guys and gals. Like Correa, Minnesota. Jorge Soler tonight to the Marlins. And the Castellanos to the Phillies. I mean, the NL East is a juggernaut, man. Ishmael's here. Jason Lung's up in the house. This offseason it's been different. Not like the NFL offseason, the NFL offseason, which just happened this way. I mean, NFL free agency just started too. And obviously the difference, I mean, there's a legal tampering period 2 days leading up into it. So they can actually negotiate and do some things, but the deals don't become official until the Wednesday itself when it goes. But we don't really have that in baseball. Stupid lockout and everything, but, is what it is. So, I'm here. Something happened here? I'm here, guys. Miguel Garcia, Stephen Walker, Manny's in the house. I mean, this is nuts. I mean, the Cubs have had a crazy week too. Let me recap this stuff here. Let me pull it up because there's so many things have happened. Let's get to Correa first. 3 years, $105 million, 35 per, right? With an opt-out after the first and the second season. So he has that. He has the built-in protection so that if he plays well, he can go back on the market, right? In the next year. And the difference between this year and next year is he's going to be the only shortstop next year rather than one of 5 this year. So it could work into his favor. If he gets hurt, he's not going to exercise the opt-out. He'll just take the $35 million for the following year. And if he gets hurt in the year 2, he'll take the $35 million. So at worst, he's going to make $105 million over these next 3 years, one way or the other. So, would it have been cool to see, him here? Yes. But like I said, I mean, I don't know if you saw my video earlier. There's no guarantee that these guys would take Yankee money. Not everybody wants to come to the Yankees. Not everybody likes New York or can handle New York. And again, they call it the New York tax. I mean, $180 million for a contract in Miami is like $210 in New York or something like that. So there is a difference. They pay the Aaron, Star Wars, baby. There is a difference. People generally pay more in New York, as we know. To get players here. So, but again, there was no guarantee that Correa was going to come here, no matter how much money you throw at him, right? Story might come here. Freeman, all these folks. Not everybody wants to play for the Yankees, and it's something that I cannot emphasize that enough. And I hate saying this as a Yankee fan, but it's true. So, or not everybody can handle it either. So I'm hoping that they pivot now and Cashman goes and gets, a Frankie Montez or a Manea or even tries for a Luis Castillo or maybe someone else out of the blue. So, Kyle, man, this is an awesome – I love the shirt, bro. It's an awesome shirt. Edwin's here. Edwin Eng is in the house. What's happening, man? Anthony 527. I think the Yankees are gonna trade for a Tyler Talbot's here. I think they're gonna trade for a starting pitcher. Which one I don't know. I mean, I'm hoping that it's Montez, but now we're hearing the Twins are interested in Montez, and the Twins. I mean, they're pretty serious right now, right? They want to win. They're obviously being aggressive and making moves, and they've made quite a few this offseason, and obviously Correa kind of topped it all off. But it's been a pretty high volume offseason for the Twins, just as it has been for the Cubs, as it been for like the Texas Rangers, a bunch of teams. The Mets have put the hammer down and moves. And again, throwing big money, spending a boatload doesn't mean you're going to it's going to guarantee playoffs or World Series. So that's one thing to keep in mind too. But like the Yankees have spent as well. They didn't have as much. I mean, they were already at like almost 220 after the lockout ended. So they haven't really spent as much actually, if you think about it. Even the taking on of Josh Donaldson's money, and you add Rizzo, they spent pretty much cumulatively what Correa is going to cost alone for 3 years. So somewhere around there. So, and what the good thing with the Yankees, at least in my opinion, is they have $100 million plus coming off the books in the next couple of years. And so this would have been a good offseason to sign. So I'm to spend, even if they pay the penalties this offseason at multiple levels. Jason Robbins, what's happening, man? I will speak on Freddie Freeman's contract, most definitely. And he's got deferred money too. Yep. But like this would have been the offseason to spend and invest, and they could still do that. They could get a Story now, and a Story could be a shortstop. He has the flexibility to maybe play outfield. He's athletic, and I'm hearing a lot of stuff today, a lot of chatter saying like, you guys let me know what you think, but like my take here is I'm not sitting Kiner-Falefa if I'm bringing in Story. I would not sit Kiner-Falefa if we got Correa. You don't trade for a guy who's young and athletic, has speed, and plays good defense for an older guy who does the same exact thing. You play them together, in the lineup together, on the field together. You figure out a way to make it work, because now, just kind of like Gavin Lux, who doesn't have a position on the Dodgers, Gleyber Torres kind of doesn't have a position right now on the Yankees. And if he stays, okay, I hope he plays well. But if I'm signing Trevor Story, I'm moving Kiner-Falefa to second, and I'm moving Gleyber Torres somewhere in the trade, and I'm playing DJ as super utility. That's when he came here to begin with. He signed here to be a super utility. The only reason he played second was because we had that disaster of an experiment with Gleyber Torres at shortstop. Okay, he came here to be the super utility guy. So that's exactly what I put him. And being 33 and coming off of hernia surgery, right? It would be a better way to kind of ease him back into playing. And he'd still play 120, 130 games, but it's the best way to fit him, IKF, Kiner-Falefa, and a Story in the same time and give them all regular playing time. Okay. So, Kiner-Falefa, I know some people saying he'll be utility, but I'm not sitting the younger guy with speed to play an older guy without speed. Okay. Now, I'm not talking about Story. I'm talking about DJ. I like DJ and everything, but he's coming off hernia surgery. It would be best this year if he was, in my opinion, for him to be super utility and Kiner-Falefa to play regularly at second base. And the super utility, again, is going to give all these guys a break. So they're going to play 130 games each at least, or something like that, or whatever, 140 games. So, but to me, I want that speed in the lineup on a everyday basis. And if you have Story and Kiner-Falefa there together, you play both of them together. You have that speed and athleticism. Remember, one of the biggest complaints at the end of the season was the Yankees got rid of all their speed and athleticism. Why would we bring two of them here to sit one of them? Doesn't make sense to me. Okay? That's why I don't play IKF as super utility. Okay? And, it's to me, it doesn't make sense. Now, I'm sure that everybody has different opinions. Wojciech Cebulski. Pleasure, man. Greetings from America. All right, welcome Europe in the house. All right, man. Yeah, people seem to think, Kiner-Falefa is not really that great. The minute he stepped onto the Yankee roster, he had more hits and more stolen bases than everybody on the team. Anybody. He out-hit and out-stolen base everybody, okay? That, to me, you keep in the lineup and let other guys drive him in, right? So I do say yes to Story, but to me, I'm not saying Story. I'm not saying yes to Story if we're sitting Kiner-Falefa. I'm saying yes to Story if we play Kiner-Falefa also. He had 20-plus steals. So did Story. You want both of those guys in the lineup at the same time. Okay. Well, Glaber's still a possibility, but Kiner-Falefa is an upgrade over Gleyber Torres. Gleyber Torres had that one good year, and he's regressed ever since. He's had consistent lapses in focus and non-hustle issues. Falefa is known for his hustle and his gritty play. Okay. That is a different – he has an advantage. Yeah, Alex. Yeah, Kiner-Falefa. That's right. Yeah. So, again, that's my opinion. He has upside. He's only 26, as is Gleyber Torres. So, and it's not a sexy name. But again, getting Correa here would not have guaranteed us the World Series. Getting Freeman here would have not guaranteed us the World Series. Getting both of them would have not guaranteed us the World Series. Because it doesn't address catching defense. It doesn't address pitching. It doesn't address the outfield. And you're paying $500 million for two guys, or potentially $500 million for two guys. It hamstrings them. Now, I'm surprised that Correa got a 3-year deal at Minnesota. But it is what it is. Now, off to Freeman. Again, Freeman has deferred money in his contract, so the actual value is about 140 over 6 years. So, some of the money's deferred, like Max Scherzer's contract with the Nationals. A bunch of it was deferred. So, but that said, he had some other offers. I think it was 140 offer for 6 from Tampa Bay. And but the big one was, the Dodgers. And the Dodgers just were a better fit. And the fact is, Correa is not in the AL East. Neither is Freeman. So I'm fine with that. Kiner-Falefa can play second, yes. Yes. So he's going into his prime. So now I don't know if the Yankees are going to sign Story or not, but again, I hope if they sign him, they still need a starting pitcher one way or another. So to me, and the Yankees haven't traded any of their prospects right now, so they're going to need to use some of these guys for a trade with Oakland or a trade with Cincinnati or whatever. So the Blue Jays are in the East, yes. Yes, they are. Blue Jays are in the East. To me, they broke even this offseason, but they're still they frighten me, the Blue Jays. So they need a starter more than they need a shortstop, the Yankees, because they have their shortstop right now. Okay? They have their shortstop right now. So, Wade, yeah, and Tyler Wade could have been here. Like, exactly. I mean, they got rid of these guys, so they're bringing in guys to replace them, and I don't see the point in, moving Kiner-Falefa here. I don't think Cashman's messing up the Yankees, Toby. I mean, he's making the moves he can. Like I said, I mean, not everybody wants to play here or come here. So he could have been turned down for offers and other things. So we really don't know. I mean, we deal with we go on a lot of speculation until things are actually reported and confirmed. So, and there are other people who have different opinions and blah, blah, blah. But people, they're coming out here saying that fire everybody. They're not doing anything. And it's could not be further from the truth, okay? They're not sitting around in their laurels. He's busy, but just because he's busy doesn't mean he's going to get everybody. That's not the way it works. It's not reality, It's just, it is what it is. Like, that's unfortunate reality. In terms of Judge, I haven't heard anything. All I know is he set a deadline. He will not discuss an extension once the season starts. So they have a few weeks to get something done. And Hal Steinbrenner said that something would be done. I don't know what that something is, but I'm guessing they're talking in due time or short time. So we'll see what happens there with Judge. And I don't know, but like Story, because he would have value in outfield too, especially if Hicks goes down. And Hicks generally goes down every single time. Even though he looks good right now, there's no guarantee that he's going to stay healthy. Really, there's none. So, it's crazy, Michael. Whit Merrifield is somebody I proposed in a trade earlier. I proposed him and MJ Melendez in a package trade with the Yankees a while back. So, Whit Merrifield I like. Really, I like so. Do I think Higgy's going to work out as a full-time starter? I don't think he's going to be the full-time starter. They're going to bring in somebody. They have Rob Brantley, but Rob Brantley's going to cut it. Not going to cut it. Like, Ben Warford got an oblique injury today, but he's not going to be out for several months. A grade 1 strain of the oblique, he'll be okay. He'll be probably ready in mid-April or something like that. So, not going to miss a boatload of time. And as long as he rehabs right and stays healthy, I still think they're going to bring in somebody one way or another, whether it's Contreras or somebody else. They might try to beef up a trade for Sean Murphy. But that's going to cost a hell of a lot. It's going to cost a lot less to get Wilson Contreras than it will to get Sean Murphy. So my guess is now they'll probably go to Contreras route if they can. But with the Cubs, the Cubs beefing up everybody. They also brought in Yan Gomes, so it does make Wilson Contreras somewhat expendable as well. So, there is a possibility with the Cubs making this trade. And well, exactly. The frustration comes for any of the fans. The fans are expecting the Yankees to side. Exactly. But then again, all the big names don't mean anything. Like the World Series is not won in the offseason. On paper, better means nothing. Nothing. Okay. The Mets could shit the bed. They could. There's no guarantee to bring in all these guys. Especially look what the Phillies have done now, and the Atlanta Braves have done. That's a juggernaut in the NL East. So there's no guarantee on anything. I understand the frustration, or I definitely get it. I mean, I even wanted them to do more a little bit, but the fact is it looks like they, and I'm not saying, there was some moves. I think they missed out on Robbie Ray. They definitely missed out on Carlos Rodon. They should have gotten one of those guys. I've said that for a while, and I've said they should have gotten 2 starters. And I'm disappointed that they haven't gotten at least one yet. So, and I hear you guys too in package deal for Brian Reynolds. Let me just say this in terms of Brian Reynolds, the way I look at it, Randall, if you can get judged for 6 years, I would do that. I don't want to give him 8 or 10. I'm not supporting that at all. Dominguez in a package deal for Reynolds. The reason why I think that's probably a non-start is because the package that Oakland asked for Matt Olson, they asked for Dominguez, Volpe, and Peraza for Olson. Dominguez, Reynolds is going to cost even more than Matt Olson did with 4 years of control. So, that package is going to be astronomical. Now, I would still look into it, no doubt about it, but I don't know. I see that as an unlikely scenario, even though it would be heavenly for me. So, we can't sign Merrifield. He's not a free agent. We'd have to trade for him. Donaldson is a beast. He had a home run today, almost out of the entire stadium. So, and again, Donaldson kind of fell off, and even Rortvedt, they addressed a bunch of needs. If you guys haven't heard me say this in another video, they cut down on their strikeouts. They got better plate discipline, all right, on-base percentage, WAR, okay? And, one of the things that the Yankees were terrible at last year was base running, situational hitting, striking out with a lot of guys on base. They were 27 out of 30 runners in scoring position. They just drastically improved in all those areas. Defense as well. The infield is much better suited for good defense. And now starting the year with Rizzo, who looks actually like he's in pretty good shape, looks pretty fit. Looks like he cut down about 20 pounds. Starting with Rizzo, last year, the first baseman for the Yankees starting season was Jay Bruce. That didn't work out. He had to retire. And then Luke Voigt missed a bunch of time as well. Now, we traded him to the Padres for that pitcher. So, and personally, I think that was probably the best that they could get for him. So, I don't see the Yankees as 4th place. I know a lot of people keep saying, I don't know where that came from. Is it a viral thing that somebody's saying that everybody's following? Personally, I don't see them as a 4th place team. Could be wrong. The Rays could finish 4th this year. The Red Sox could finish 4th. It's a crapshoot. It really is a crapshoot. So, 6 years for $180 for Judge. Well, that would be nice. I don't see it happening personally, Christopher, but that would be nice. Ketel Marte as a catcher. I don't know. The only reason why I say no is because he has leg problems. So, and but I wouldn't mind him here. Carson Kelly could be gettable from Arizona. He's a good catcher. Judge isn't getting 10. Yeah, I agree with that, Tyler, and I don't think he should get 10. 7 years got to be the top, and 7 years 162 would be lovely. I don't think he's going to get anything less than 200, personally. I could be wrong, but I don't see him getting any less than that. But we'll see. Volpe and Jason Dominguez for Julio Rodriguez. Ooh, Kenny. Ooh. That's a tough one. I don't think either team would do that, actually, Kenny. I don't know. That's an interesting proposal because, Rodriguez is like the number 3 prospect in baseball, so that's interesting. But I don't know if there's that much of a difference between him and Volpe, to be honest with you. But I just hope Volpe and Dominguez work out here. I really do. Hope not, Lori. I know he's got injury-prone issues, but so does Trevor Story. So did Carlos Correa. But that's why, to me, DJ being super utility would be a better fit to me because he would make sure that these guys get regular rest and he can play third, he can play second, he can play first. And the infielder will get regular rest, especially the older ones like Rizzo and Donaldson. So I hope not. I hope not, Laura. Any pitching rumors? Well, just with Oakland right now. But Cashman has a tendency to pull a trade out of his backside. So I don't know. He could be talking with somebody, and all of a sudden they'll get some pitcher we're not even thinking about. But I still think the Yankees need 2 starters. I've said it for like a year now, and I still am of that belief. With Donaldson, we get someone fun. Well, yeah, Donaldson is also fiery, man. He light a fire under the player's ass. He's not afraid to get in your face. He brings this swag and attitude that the team hadn't had in a long time, and we need that. Would I have Trevor Bauer? The only way I would get Trevor Bauer is if he was released by the Dodgers and we can get him on the league minimum. I am not trading prospects and any of that stuff. His administrative leave has already been extended to April 15th. So he's going to be, there's no way I'm trading prospects and paying him tens of millions of dollars. That's just me, though. Yeah, I think Judge's cap is $35 million per year, but there's no way in the world I think they should give him 10 years. Even to you too, Chris. I didn't say shortstop for DJ. I said DJ, he can play every position but short, Chinyan. So, but then at that point, you can move kind of Falefa to short and give Story a day off or whatever and have DJ play a different position. He can play pretty much all 3 positions but shortstop. Predictions on Story. If the Yankees offer him $25 million a year for, let's just say 3 years with opt-outs after the first 2 years, like Correa, I think he'll come to the Yankees. Otherwise, I think he'll probably go to Houston, and my sleeper team will be the Angels. Again, for Trevor Bauer, I would only sign him if he's released by the Dodgers, because then the Dodgers are on the hook for his money. Hicks looks like he's in shape. So does Gleyber Torres, which is good. And Stephen Man Walker. I love the UK, man. Been there several times with my wife. Love it. Clark Schmidt in the package. Well, they're going to need to trade a hell of a lot more than Clark Schmidt in the package for Montez. Expect Oswald Peraza to go. Expect Luis Hill to go. Schmidt, and then some more. Probably one more guy for Montez. That'd be my guess. Montez has 2 years of control left, so he's going to cost a little bit more than Manea. So they have to actually trade with the starter, though. They have to trade for a starter, man. I think they would be making a mistake if they think Severino's going to just be thrown to the Wolves as a number 2. I would not do that, Pinstripes. 6 year of $190. Okay, almost $32 million per. That's a good number, really. Trevor Story can sign in Boston, but he doesn't want to play second base, and they've already announced. They've already kind of confirmed that. So he wants to play shortstop, and Xander Bogaerts doesn't want to leave shortstop. So it could pose a little bit of an issue. Well, that's true too, Richard. Bauer's got a beef with. He's got a beef with a lot of players, but when he was an a-hole to Garrett Cole when they were in college together at UCLA, I would max out at 7 years for Judge too. No more. So Nestor and Gil and Luis Hill, yes, on the rate. I think at the bottom line they're going to be, fighting for the 4 and 5 spots probably, or at least the 5 spot. Nestor Cortez, I'd still have him in long relief until he continues to build up his arm strength so he can handle a season. He broke down after the first half because he didn't have the arm, kind of endurance built up. So we still have 4 years with him. He's only 26 and he's not afraid until 2026. So I would, be smart with him and not try to just throw him to the Wolves. That's like, I don't think it's wise to throw Severino to the Wolves. So, dreading the moment. Yeah, did we get a notification that Gardner's back for 1 year, $3 million? No, I get it. I totally get it. Let's see. What do we got here? Let's see if anything's happened right now. Let's take a look on Yankees Twitter. What else we got here? Anything going on in Yankees world? And do you trade Peraza in the headline? Yes, you have to. You might be able to get Sean Manaea Hirsch without giving up Oswald Peraza in that trade because he only has 1 year. But I think there's no way you get Montez without giving up Oswald Peraza. You kind of have to. And, that's the way I see it. I could be wrong, but Montez is going to cost quite a bit, and the A's have been extracting pretty large returns for their trades. So, do I think that's going to be a low price for the Yankees? No, not even a little bit. And I heard Antonio Gomez, but he's not. He's nowhere near being ready. He's a highly rated prospect, but he's nowhere near ready. And I would avoid Brett Gardner at this point. They did bring in Ender Inciarte, who's fighting for that fourth outfield or fifth outfield spot. So he's younger and he's more athletic at this point, dynamic than Gardner is. Anything here? And then Marlins to sign Jorge Soler. That's the latest. Nothing on the Yankees. But again, I mean, let's go over this stuff. None of the big guys, the big fish, are in the AL East, which is a net gain for the Yankees, right? They obviously still need pitching. The Minnesota trade, to me, made the Yankees incrementally better. Is there enough? No, obviously. It's not enough. Missing out on Robbie Ray stunk, and missing out on Carlos Rodon stunk. I think they both got less than we thought they were going to get. And for definitely Carlos Rodon. So, and again, the speculation on interest it's the other thing. I mean, reporters are always saying the Yankees run on everybody. We don't know how accurate that is. And then it gets people all, angry when they don't go out and get somebody. And that's the other thing. I caution folks, hence highlights what's happening, man, as to not just rail on the Yankees and Cashman, because again, they're not in on everybody and they're not going to get everybody. Like right now, where's the anger towards the Houston Astros owner who couldn't keep his own guy, Carlos Correa? Why is it all at Brian Cashman? Again, there's no guarantee that he wanted to come to New York. A lot of teams use the Yankees to drive up the price. Scott Boras uses the Yankees to drive up the price. That's what he does. It's one of the reasons he's the best in the game. So, and that's the way it is. And there was also reports earlier, and it was probably a bogus report, that the Yankees were discussing a 4-year deal with Correa. Sounds like a bogus report, but it's again to get people thinking and whatnot, or getting people fired up and riled up. And it's amazing how riled up people get about some of these things, and how and then they go back and bring back Wallin and Harper, Machado. The past is the past. It has no bearing on what they're going to do in the future. None. There was, and it sounds as if, Bryce Harper really was eager to come here. I was disappointed they didn't get him. Okay. Again, it was more speculation on Machado too. He came and visited, but that's what these guys do. Seiya Suzuki worked out with the Padres, and he was visiting them last week, and then he signed with the Cubs the next day. This is the type of stuff happens all the time. So, and you met Scott Boras, Udall? Oh boy, he's a POS. That stinks. That stinks. Anthony, I hear you, man. Rizzo said, that's they have guys. Rizzo loves playing here. You have a guy in Kind of Falefa who really appreciates being here, who really loves being here. That's good energy to have on the Yankees. And again, not every position has to be a sexy move. They're getting better contact hitting now. They're getting more plate discipline, especially with Dylan Lawson. Those are some things they emphasize, right? Swinging at better pitches, swinging hard, staying away from bad pitches. So the Yankees alone are going to be, I think, a more disciplined lineup. And again, keep in mind with these catcher now, Fortvent, he'll be healthy again. But the defense that he brings, that Gary Sanchez did not display, is going to help the rotation and the bullpen. It's going to be a net gain across the board, because they have two guys now that they're going to want to throw to, rather than Sanchez, who could not block a ball, and tag people. He mental lapses as well. So he had a lot of upside, obviously, offensively, but he was frustrated, and half the rotation didn't want to pitch to him. So, it's net benefits in a lot of places, just not the sexy metrics. You know what I mean? So the way Minnesota dumped the Donaldson contract on us and signed Correa, then we traded Voit. The Voit contract and Donaldson combined would have been like $31 million, only $4 million. Yeah, but Jace, Correa addresses one position. We had to address like 6 or 7. Correa alone does absolutely nothing. Nothing. This is what I mean. The trade, Donaldson, we have a third baseman now, kind of left. We have a shortstop, Rortvedt. We have a catcher or an additional catcher. 3 positions. All right, bringing Rizzo back. That's first base. Trading Voit was at that point, it was a superfluous player. Then it was inevitable at that point when Rizzo came back, and he had a. I'm thankful for the time Voit had here, but it was time for them to part ways, unfortunately. I appreciate his spirit and the energy that he brought. And, but, he got hurt a lot. He could not defend. He played terrible defense. So they needed to upgrade there. Rizzo is a great team leader. He's a leader. And, he's an elite defender. So it's a net gain and upgrade at first base, too. You might not have the major power numbers, but it doesn't matter. So, and that's why, I don't want, to me, I find it confusing with the obsession with Correa. Yes, he's great, but again, he doesn't solve 5 positions. Neither does Freeman. Neither does Story. Neither Matt Olson. None of them do. None of them do. So, blue gold. Excuse? Please, dude. Please. All right. Cashman's prospects don't work out again. He's got a better load of prospects this time. Yankees haven't had a farm rated 7th in a while. And don't ask me that. Ask Cashman that. Okay? Nothing I said is untrue. What type of excuse are you going to use when the Twins don't win the World Series? Right? Same thing. Same thing. It's not excuses, okay? This is the reality. I'm not going to. It's pointless living in the past and arguing over stuff we can't control now. Correa's gone. He's gone. That's it. Twins are doing their thing and they're trying to get better. We'll see what happens. No guarantee. None at all. So this is the type of stuff Cashman prospects. He does prospect hug a lot, but again, who are you going to give a Volpe for? Who are you going to give a Dominguez for? That was actually available. Okay? I mean, Volpe and Dominguez wasn't even enough for Matt Olson. So who are you going to give them up for? Blue gold. Enlighten us. Let's see. We got Contreras can be on the market. Yeah, he could be. I mean, they have Yan Gomes, so they do have an additional catcher available. Exactly, Billy Branch too. Yeah, Rangers gave all this money to A-Rod. They won nothing. Nothing. I mean, I did hear about Voit and Rizzo almost fighting, but I heard that was some kind of spoof thing. I don't buy that, but I know Voit was not ecstatic when they brought Rizzo here. But I we would have heard that more widespread. It was just one spoof article. So, and again, we didn't need 3 bit exactly. Volpe, I mean, the way he's projecting, he'll be ready in a year or 2. Same thing with Dominguez, hopefully. So they have a much more widespread, group of prospects than they've had in over a decade. Outfield, infield, but they need to boost, and I've said this too, they need to boost their catching pipeline. They really do. Yeah, the Blue Jays are looking good, yes, but again, that also doesn't guarantee anything. They lost Robbie Ray and they lost Marcus Semien. So I know they got Matt Chapman and Yusei Kikuchi and Kevin Gausman, but again, there's no guarantee. Cashman, and he's been a GM for 20 plus years now, since 1998, so 25 years, right? And he's got 4 rings. So do I think he needs to have a little bit more of a modern approach? Yes, in certain things, but again, there's no guarantee any of the GM here could be doing more. None. Okay? There's no GM out there that has 4 rings in the past 25 years. So, and again, do I think he's hamstrung a little bit by how? Probably. So I think he's doing what he can. But like I said, it's no guarantee everybody wants to come to New York, even if they get the most money here. So number 2 pitcher in the Yankees should be good to compete. Yeah, number 2 pitcher will put him in a much better position. I really think they need to get that. So, and I think Cashman knows this. How much would we have to give up to get Contreras? I don't think a lot, David Cohen. He's got 1 year left. Not a lot. And I a lot of folks seeing what Cashman said he had latitude and all this stuff, and nobody knows what that means. And never once did the Yankees say we were going to go get the big guys. And I love when people just try to put words in Cashman's mouth, and do this other stuff. He doesn't say anything, this guy. So he never leaks anything. And all of a sudden he does stuff. Am I disappointed with some of the things that he hasn't done? Yeah, sure. But again, the offseason's not over yet. The Red Sox haven't done anything. Nothing. They lost Hunter Renfroe. They brought in what? They brought in James Paxton. Beast Mode, who are you going to replace Cashman with? I know a lot of folks say Cashman needs to go. Who are we going to replace him with? Cutter 795. Cutter 75. He's not paying me. Dude. Who's feeding you this propaganda? You getting this propaganda from other channels or something? Who's going to replace Brian Cashman? That is interested and available that we know of. Fernando Palencia, I appreciate that, man. Chris Sale isn't going to get yeah, I mean, Chris Sale's hurt too. He's got a fractured rib. He's going to miss some time as well. So this is the thing, man. Volpe has the pressure. I mean, not really. They're not going to, I mean, the content creators and all this other people, thank you for the donor, Nick. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. You know, I don't see any of that stuff coming from the Yankees themselves. Yeah, they didn't trade him. They didn't trade Dominguez. They didn't trade Peraza. They didn't trade Oswald Peraza, Oswaldo Cabrera. They didn't trade any of them. So people keep saying all this pressure's on Volpe's shoulder. Was he 20? Maybe 21? They're still going to let him develop. They don't expect him to be up here right now. That's why you have Kiner Falefa. That's why you have these guys. They don't need to rush him. Yeah, he's a highly touted prospect, but again, we're making up all this stuff for what? For what? They're not. I don't see people breathing down Volpe's neck saying you got to be here by this year. You got to be here by. Nobody's doing that on the Yankees. The only people that are doing that are fans and other people who make up stuff. Like, so who's doing it? Yeah, a whole bunch of trolls, Dominic. But it is what it is. You know, everybody, and again, everybody has the right to feel what they want, to think what they want. But like, you know, yeah, Volpe's going to develop. And, you know, again, there's a lot of other channels that spit propaganda and they get people that come onto other channels and spit the same propaganda. I don't care. So if people want to spit propaganda, go right ahead. There's a lot of know-it-alls and a lot of my people this, but nobody cares. Nobody cares, man. The Yankees, this is where the Yankees are at. And all I'm worried about is what they're going to do now moving forward. There's nothing I can do about Correa going to the Cubs. Nothing going to the Twins. Nothing any of us could do. Nothing. Why didn't he go to Boston? Why didn't he go to Philly? Big money teams. Do the Yankees trade for Castillo or Manaea? More likely Manaea at this point, Nick. And thank you for the super chat, man. I appreciate that, man. Yeah, it's not easy being general manager. And this isn't the GM of the Toledo Mudhounds. This is the GM of the New York Yankees. It's a different, you know. Yeah, I mean, there's no content creator that's going to replace Brian Cashman, so. The other channels are exercising freedom of speech. Yeah, so am I, Joey and Nelly. And I don't mind. People can say whatever they want, just like me, just like you. But this is not a freedom of speech thing. Like, this is not. But people tend to gravitate towards propaganda a little bit more than they do reality sometimes because it gets people riled up and fired up. That's totally fine. That's totally fine. But me personally, I like to live in reality sometimes too. I'm not going to let my emotions dictate my decisions or whatnot. I try to keep an even keel, right? Try to reason with stuff and get a perspective from both sides. I'm not going to say, oh, I know, I told you so, this and all that, blah, blah. What is that going to do? That does nothing. I don't need to sit here and feed my ego or have people to feed my ego for me. I don't need that, okay? That's not what this channel is about. It's a channel about good debate, right? Good conversation, enjoying Yankee stuff and baseball stuff. So, you know, Jeter as GM would be an appealing if you would consider something like that. I like Jeter, so I think they should bring him in some capacity in the front office. Christopher Castillo seems to be off the market. The GM said they're not looking to trade him, but that could also be raise the price people kind of code word too. So, you know, we don't really know. We really don't know. So, I think Hal's a bigger problem in the United States. I agree with you there. I think Hal's a bigger problem than Cashman. What will the rotation like in my opinion. Look like right now, as we stand, it's probably Cole, Montgomery, Severino, Cortez, Tyone if he's there, or Hill or something like that. We need, I mean, in my opinion, again, we need a solid number 2 like a Mane or a Montez or Castillo or someone else. So, you know, that's my guess. Right now, it's not enough. Why Josh Johnson is he still the old Josh? I mean, Josh is still good. He can still hit on a bad year last year. He had 27 home runs and 75 RBIs. So, Martian develop. Yeah. Who are the Yankees going to get? I think a pitcher, Anthony Baker, in my opinion. Do you think the Yankees will finish 4th in the East? No, I do not. I know so many people are saying that. I don't. Cashman deserves an F+. I guess the GM of Boston deserves an F-. The GM of Tampa, an F-, right? Because they haven't done anything. So, I guess that's right. Theo Epstein I don't know now. I mean, I'd like it, but I think he's more Jason Robbins. I mean, believe me, I would love Theo Epstein, but it would be a step down. Now he's an MLB executive, and I think the next role for him would probably be commissioner or something like that. But you never know. You never know. Whatever he touches turns to gold. So, $250 million payroll with few contracts haven't worked out so far. Yeah, a few won. That's right. And again, you know, a couple of albatross contracts on there. And again, but there's a lot of money, 100+ coming off the books in the next 3 or 4 years. So they can spend now and take the hit now, and then money will come off the books and they'll be under the threshold. So, yeah, do I think crying poverty has any credibility with Hal? No. Do I think he should spend? Yes. Do I understand if he doesn't? Not really, but what am I going to do? And again, they could read. I mean, Cashman has dialogue with everybody, all agents, but not everybody wants to come here. That's the thing that so many people just don't want to acknowledge. You can't just throw all this money at these guys and say they should be here. It's not the way it works. It's not the way it works. Jeter in the front office, yes. The off-season grade is incomplete. The same thing in my opinion too, Tyler, because the off-season's not over yet. So, Mike Cuts. You could bounce Mike Cuts, piece. You could bounce home. Yeah, we can go to Yankee Stadium as a group. Sure. I mean, at some point, I want to get up there. At some point, I do. Trade Clark Schmidt, Oswald Peraza, and Correa for Frankie Montes. That's probably what it'll cost, Michael. That's fair. That's fair. I love how it's, kind of like Mike Cuss, like another troll saying, I'm acting like I'm the commissioner. I'm not telling people what they should do. All I did was give insight and feedback and stuff like that. There are other channels who talk like, this is what they should do. I'm right. I know this. I know that, all knowing. I don't do that here. That's why you could bounce Mike Cuts, okay? You can go take yourself to another propaganda channel. Donaldson under 20. Maybe. He could be over too, though. But, home runs only one thing. Volpe will start AA, which is nice, yes. Posada to work with the catchers, I think, is a good idea. But I think he's still employed. He might be employed by the Marlins. I think. So, Correa signed the 1-year deal with the Twins that won't even make the playoffs. It really isn't a big deal from a Yankee perspective. It's a 1-year deal. He'll opt out if he stays healthy and plays well, Pistol Pete, 27. And if he doesn't stay healthy, then I think he's not going to opt out. He'll just take the money. That's what Boris people do. And that's why Boris did this, because next year, if he plays really well, he'll be the only shortstop available. And they can go out and get a bunch, probably a bigger contract. So, Boris is good with that stuff. He's good with that stuff. So, Donaldson, I think Donaldson will be probably in the mid-20s for home runs. Jason Robbins, I hear you, man. I hear you, dude. Yeah. The lineup is solid right now. It's it's across the board. We need more pitching to balance out the roster. We really do. Volpe can move up quickly. I mean, you never know how he's going to progress. He can force himself onto the major leagues. That's what Soto did. That's what Vladimir Guerrero did. They were so good. Volpe can do the same. Dominguez can get to that point as well. So, Barry Bruce, thank you, man. I appreciate it. I think it's important to be open-minded. I'm not all-knowing. No one is all-knowing, okay? Nobody is. So, people that act like it, go right ahead. You're welcome to. Live in your bubble. Live in the bubble. I don't care. I mean, that's why Cashman's the GM and we're not, and I'm not. So we're not privy to the information that he is privy to. So unfortunately, but it is what it is. Like, you got folks saying all this, oh, yeah, he could have gotten him, he could have gotten him, he could have. We don't know that. We don't know any of this stuff. Exactly, Toby. Cashman has 4 rings. You know, people are trolling today. Oh, look at him. He hasn't gotten a ring in 13 years. The Twins haven't got one in 30. So let's do the math, guys. You know, and there's no guarantee they're going to get one with Correa and Big Bad Sonny Gray. Tomorrow's, the Yankees were not on TV today, which sucked. Carson Kelly and Marte trade, I would be cool with. I would be cool with that. Next for the Yankees, in my opinion, I think is either a trade for a pitcher or a Trevor Story move. I think I do. Eric Clara, thanks so much for the donut. I appreciate that. This is 250. Well, it is, but it's it's imbalanced quite a bit, and it's just the way that it is, and it's been an accumulation of years and doing stuff, and so that's just the way that it is right now. And again, like I said, going back to not everybody wants to play for the Yankees, so it's difficult to construct a roster that you want. The Mets have a loaded roster right now, but that guarantees nothing. Blue Jays guarantees nothing. What if the Blue Jays are this stacked and they keep adding and they don't win a World Series in a decade? Are people going to give them the same shit they give the Yankees? Probably not. It just comes with the territories with the Yankees. There's a lot of unreasonable opinions and whatnot, but they're everybody's opinion. They're entitled to have them. A lot of people think my opinions, our views are unreasonable. That's totally fine too. So, what happened to the Cashman that wheeled and dealed? He still wheels and deals. It's not the same as before for RJ4. That's why I think, if you're going to modernize somebody, but who again, right now is available and interested that could replace him and do a better job. We don't know. So, and is Howe constraining his wheeling and dealing? Maybe a little bit. So I don't think Cashman has full carte blanche to do what he wants. So that's a problem, but it is what it is. Do I think Story? Carlos, right now, honestly, I think it's 50-50. If the Yankees give him an opt-out or 2, then I think he'll come on a similar deal as Correa, like a 3-year or a 1-year deal with 2 opt-outs that can get to 3 years. I think he would take that. I do. And if he plays well again, he can go back onto the market next year. So I do think that. Yeah, and the baby bombers bust. That's the other thing. Like Gary Sanchez, it didn't work out. So sometimes when these kids don't work out, they have to spend money on players, and that doesn't always work out either. So that's another reason why it's a kind of very imbalanced $250 million roster. But again, on paper means nothing. The Mets right now have a better roster on paper. Blue Jays on paper. Dodgers on paper. Means nothing. You got to deliver when it counts. Tyler Talbot, thanks so much, man. Montez and Sean Murphy for Torres, Schmidt, Peraza, Florial, and Hayden Wisniewski. Well, I would do that if you can get that. If you can convince him to take that package, I would do that. I would do that. No doubt about it. Yankees won the Story more than Correa. I would agree with that, Michael Shin. Yeah, I agree with that. And I also agree that more blame needs to go with Hal than Cashman. Hal can overrule Cashman. Cashman cannot overrule Hal. So, and that's the thing. Like, trade for Bobby Bonilla. He's still getting paid through like 2030, I think, for the Mets. Wells to catch and tell. Yeah, he's an option. I just don't think he's ready yet. Do I think Bauer play? I don't know, Stephen Walker. That's a good question. I think the Dodgers are MLB is trying to make an example out of him. So I'm under 50% that he'll play again right now. But even though he's been criminally cleared, MLB is a different thing. Subway Series 2021. Mets 4, Yankees 2. Means nothing. The real Subway Series happened in 2000. The Yankees won that World Series. So In-season Subway Series means nada. Nada. So, and again, I'm not upset that Correa isn't the Yankee. I'm not. Would he have been nice? Sure. Luden, thank you so much for that, generous donor, man. All these 3 teams are whoop us silly right now. I don't know. Again, on paper is on paper. Cutter 75, thank you so much as well. I appreciate that. Appreciate you guys' generosity tonight. Do I think Story ends up as a Yankee? I'm kind of leaning towards yes now. I think Cashman's probably, they need a fire lit under their ass right now. So I think, Story and a pitcher would change a lot of people's minds on this offseason. So, and again, I don't think Cashman's watching message boards, watching this, saying, well, what are the fans saying? He's not going to do that. He doesn't listen to us, but he's going to do, what he can do that's best for the team. What's within his capabilities to not be overruled. So that's the other thing too. But again, Hal's a businessman. Do I think he's best suited to run this team? No, I don't think he's a good baseball mind at all. But the fact is he owns the Yankees, and until somebody buys them, it is what it is. I have a lot of people saying Elon Musk. Musk doesn't know shit about baseball either. Just because he's uber rich doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean he's going to come in here and do the same thing that Steve Cohen is doing. I appreciate what Steve Cohen's doing, but doesn't guarantee anything. Kamil, I appreciate that. Thanks so much, man. But yeah, does it mean if Trevor Bauer plays again in the Major League Baseball, I don't think it's going to be with the Dodgers. I would agree with that, JDS third. Kind of Falefa isn't good. There's a reason he was traded by 2 teams and once for Washington. Well, first off, they needed a catcher. Okay. Mitch Garver fit that need. And, kind of Falefa, he comes in right off the bat and has more hits and stolen bases than anybody on the Yankees. Okay. He's known for his hustle. He's a good defender. He's got speed and athleticism. So I don't know why he's saying he's not good. I don't understand that, but okay. Could we get Hader? Yeah, we could. I don't know how much it's going to cost, but could get him. He's gettable. Yeah, exactly. No guarantee in baseball. It's a postseason's a crapshoot. You got to get there first. And this isn't like football, 17 games, or basketball, 82 games. This is 162 games. It is a grind, man, an absolute grind. So, and it's it's gonna take a while, man. It's gonna take a while to see. And again, I'm happy with kind of Falefa right now. Big boy is here. What's good, man? The next move I think is going to be probably a pitcher before Story. I think I could see a pitcher happening before Story. But again, this could happen overnight too. It woke up overnight. This morning, Castellanos is gone. Correa is gone. I did not expect to wake up to Correa with the Twins. That one was crazy. That one was crazy. But it is what it is. Correa's the most clutch hitter in the playoffs. So blue gold he is. So is Stanton. Stanton's money in the playoffs. But you got to get there first. There's no guarantee the Twins are going to get there. We do need more pitching. I agree, man. I do feel Judge's extension has a lot to do. I think that's impacting guys who they're going to get, who they're not going to get to. I do think that because they've made it clear that they want to sign Judge to an extension. So, and they have to allocate at least $30 to $35 million per season for Judge. And again, starting next year, or is it going to start this year? I don't know. That's the other thing. But I'm guessing it's going to start next year when he's actually a free agent. And we have a lot of money coming off the book, so it'll be a little different math. But the same thing, it's still it's still going to affect the numbers one way or another. But I do agree that they're trying to factor in Judge, which can be affecting their decision making. So, and he's a homegrown guy, and a lot of people want Judge, right? So if they got Judge and didn't make a move, would we be happy? I don't know. Not everyone wants to play in the Bronx, even though it was a small contract. So I couldn't believe that either, Allison. You're right. Played here for 2 years. He played. I couldn't believe it either. I really couldn't. So, but as soon as he left, he went back to Arizona. And when he went to Arizona, he won a bunch of Cy Youngs, and he clearly was not in his element in New York. And that happens for King Griffey said it the best. Griffey said Hall of Fame 600-plus home run King Griffey. He said, if the Yankees were the only team to offer me a contract, I would retire. This is what he said. Okay? And that's telling. So IKF moves to third when Volpe. Maybe. I don't know what position Volpe's going to play. Because he has versatility too. But that'd be my guess. That'd be my guess. Not exactly sure. Well, I think Volpe will play shortstop or second. One of those two. So, and IKF, I mean, kind of fluff. He's 26 years old. He's here for 2 seasons. And we'll see what happens after that. But, like, he's young. He's entering his prime. Those guys are hard to get. People were pissed off when they got Didi Gregorius, and they were hammering that trade. And then, you know, almost a year in, he was great. I feel the same way about Kiner Falefa. You know, the elephant in the room. What about? I don't think he should come back, Taz Bogado. I don't think he should. I mean, he's not. He can't come back before pitching. He can't come back before, you know, a story decision on that. If he does, it has to be the last decision, very last. Next move is Judge extension, and I'll say this again. Offer him an extension. If he turns it down, you do not offer him a new one. You trade him immediately. Get value back from him. And then you move on. You keep it moving if he says no to the extension. So obviously it has to be a good one right out the gate, but like, you know, yeah, he does have bad blood from his dad, Ken Griffey Sr. That's right. That's right, E. Brunson. And again, that affected him. So this is what I'm saying. Like, not everybody wants to come to the Yankees. And the Yankees don't suck, Nelson. I mean, it might be, that's your opinion. You're entitled to it, but they no longer make power. Well, Cole was a power move. Stanton was a power move. They're not going to make power moves every year. Not every team can make power moves every year. So Boston hasn't made a power move. Do you think they suck? Tampa hasn't either. Do you think they suck? I mean, I'm just curious. No to trading Judge. He'll be like Kyrie. Don't play at home. Yeah. I mean, if I offer him an extension and he turns it down, I would not hesitate for a second. I would trade him the next day and get value back for him. It's the only way they're going to get him. Otherwise, they're going to walk. He'll walk and they'll get nothing in return. And I'm not going to overpay by 50, 60, 70, 80 million dollars to keep him. No, thank you. It's going to be 31 when the extension starts. So what I would only trade Judge for prospects. You get prospects and players before the season if he turns down an extension. You have to offer it to him before the season starts, Eric. And if he says no, I move him immediately. I'm not waiting. A full year of Judge will get them back more value than a half a season of Judge at the deadline. And there will teams that will buck up for Aaron Judge. So what would be insane is him saying no and then adding $50, $60 million to an extension and paying a boatload of money for a bunch of decline years. That's, to me, more insane. So and that's just my take on it, though. Epic Warrior, that would have been nice, but we'd have to give it more than Voigt to get Josh Hader. But theoretically, yeah, it would have been nice. But once they got Daniel, no, not Daniel Vogt, they traded Daniel Vogt. He signed with the Pirates, actually. Andrew McCutchen as DH. I thought Voigt was no longer going to be an option there. They could still get Josh Hader. That's going to cost a couple guys. So, and kind of Falefa is also a Gold Glover at third base. So, you know, keep in mind we got much better defensively, and that's one of the things that the Yankees stunk at. Chad Green is definitely a good Chad Pace walk. Yes. Right now, as of right now, Nick P. Judge is not playing at home. Yep, he's not vaccinated. Of course, according to pretty much everybody. And right now, there's a New York City ordinance that does not allow. It's a private sector ordinance that does not allow teams to play home games. That's why Kyrie Irving doesn't play home games in Brooklyn. Soto's better. Oh yeah, Soto's better than Judge. Yes, he's also like 7 years younger. Luden? Did I miss a dono from Luden? Luden, thank you so much for generous dono. I appreciate that. If we get a rando no-name project starter, I give up. Yeah, I agree with you. Thanks so much for that dono. I appreciate the generosity, man. Thank you for pointing that out, Udo. Thank you. I appreciate that. You're the man. The Mets will take Judge from me. from us. Yeah, they probably would. They're gonna have to give up a hell of a lot, though. Yeah, if you guys haven't hit the like button, if you don't mind, hit it. We have 400 people in here. I want to try to get the likes up. It's greatly appreciated. I want to try to get to 400 likes again if we can. But I thank you either way. If Judge says no, you trade him. Yes. Exactly. He'll be on the wrong side of it. Exactly, Pinstripe. This is what I'm talking about. You do not hesitate to move him if he says no to an extension. I'm waiting for Cashman news too, big boy. Believe me, I'm refreshing, and I got all the things kind of firing on all cylinders here to see whether we see something popping up, whether it's on Twitter, on MLB Network, and I've got them both gunning here. So let's see. I'll take a look right now. Yeah, even Bobby Malone on Twitter right now. He just said something I've been saying. I'm not worried about the Yankees getting a starting pitcher. I think Cash gets a name that we were not even thinking about, not Manaea or Montez. I've been saying that too. He has the ability to do this, and it will be like, what? He's going to get somebody. I'm pretty confident of that. And if it's not Montez, fine. I think he's going to get somebody who's going to be a number 2 because he knows they need a pitcher. We can't put it all on Cole's shoulders. We just can't do that. Trout and Ohtani are phenoms. Yeah, that's a hell of a pairing. And Juan Soto is a brilliant hitter. I don't believe Judge is not going to give a discount on anything. Judge's not going to give a discount. No way. His floor is $200 million. Even though he's several years older than Olsen was when he just signed this extension, he's not going to give a discount. Nobody makes power moves every year. Exactly, Toby. I mean, it's a fact. It's a fact. And I know people don't like to hear it, but even the Yankees, like $650 million for Soto, that would be insane. But I do think he'll be between 400 and 500 at that point. I do. I would like for the Yankees to get Luis Castillo too. That would be nice. Extension for Judge better be 6 years and 210. That's 35 per year. So I think that's representative of a good floor. It should be minimum 6, 210 for Judge. I'm right with you there, Todd, on New York too. Right with you. My ceiling was 7 and 245, which is also 35 per year. So 6 or 7 years is perfect. But I do think somebody is going to probably offer him 8 or 10 years or 9 years or whatever. Let them. Pitcher has to be number 2. Yes. It has to be a frontline guy. Yes. Soto will be traded for a block. Yeah, I'm not sure he's going to get traded, man. I don't know. I'm really curious to see what happens. Where do I see the Yankees finishing the AL East, 2nd or 3rd, Steven? But you never know. This is the thing. On paper means nothing. They could win the division, and Tampa could finish 4th. Like, you never know. Toronto could finish 4th. That's the thing. Like, on paper doesn't mean anything. Am I impressed with Toronto's lineup? Yeah. They're young, athletic, dynamic, absolutely. But they could shit the bed. Unfortunately, that's what happens. So, Gleyber Torres will be used to acquire a high-hitter top-tier pitcher if a deal is completed with Trevor Story. Nothing is close as of yet. However, a deal could come together quickly, Pinstripes. What was this source? Well, I mean, that's obviously common sense. It would, probably be Torres and some prospects to get a high-end pitcher. So, but yeah, we're kind of hearing that across the board. 8-280. It's a little bit high for me, but I think he'll get it. Tyler Talbot. I think he'll get it. Do not want Cueto too late. Yeah, Cueto, I think we need somebody else other than Cueto. Cueto 5 years ago, different story. Hawks Eye View, thank you so much. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed enough to subscribe. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. And welcome. They should have signed Rodon. Yeah, I don't disagree, Hunter. I agree with that. Rodon was a guy who got away, and I think Rodon and somebody else would have been nice. So, because Griffey doesn't want to play in New York doesn't mean every player doesn't want to play. Well, that's true, actually. Not everybody wants to play for the Yankees. That's the thing. Like, that was my point I'm making. There are guys who just won't come here, and that's the reality. That's the reality. Even superstars. So, before the lockout, the biggest 325 to Seager, which was crazy. Post lockout is not even close. The biggest Brian won it. Yeah, that's a good observation too, Marcos. That's a really good observation. But you're right. 325 to Seager again. He's also an injury-prone guy, but he got it. But he's also young. He's 27, right? So I could see it. I could see why. And Texas was definitely planning on spending a boatload of money, and they did. They got a lot of guys. I don't know if Bumgarner's available. I don't know if he'd be a fit in the American League now. Why do I think we need pitching? Yankees using the same pitching strategy as the Rays with bullpen guys for 1 or 2 winning. Because one thing, knuckleball, is our starters have not been given us enough length, with the exception of Cole, and it's putting a lot of stress on the bullpen itself. As much as I think, and it's where I've said this repeatedly, I think Nestor Cortez, Michael King, and Luis Severino should be swing guys, like long relief guys who can go short innings and long innings. But we've had so many injuries in the starting rotation every single year. Every single year we have anywhere between 3 and 4 starters go down every year. And like last year, we put tax the bullpen. And then the bullpen was gassed in the second half of the season, knuckleball. That's why I think we need pitching. You can never have enough pitching. Never. So that's my take. Mazza, man, thank you always for coming on, man. Have a great night, man. Your support is greatly appreciated, brother. I'll see you next week, my man. Yes, they do need to play as a team. They need to hustle. That's why they bring in guys like kind of Falefa and some of these other guys, Donaldson. Donaldson's feisty. Kind of Falefa is known for his hustle. They've had too many just lazy, complacent players, and they developed an attitude of complacency here. Gary Sanchez, and you could see how it pissed off guys like Garrett Cole and some other guys on the team. And we can't have that mindset. We need guys that are here that are going to, remind us of some of the older Yankee teams who hated losing. They were always locked in. We need guys that are locked in on a regular basis. How often was Sanchez not locked in? Gleyber Torres not locked in. Some other guys not locked in. That's a problem if you want to beat teams like Toronto. And that's a big problem. Those guys are focused and locked in and determined to win, man. So that's the thing. Yeah, a lot of guys don't like the facial hair rule too. Yeah, I agree. That is true. Judge will be the only one who gets 10-300 from Hal because he's Hal's going. Yes, and I wouldn't do it, Jason Lung, but I think you're right. If Hal's going to give it to anybody, it would probably be Judge. I don't think it's a good idea personally, but I'm not the GM. Judge and the Giants, that would be crazy. Yankees will want Joey Barton, at least Elliot Ramos. Yeah, absolutely, Homeless Jesse. Absolutely. They're going to have to fork up somebody like that for Aaron Judge, most definitely. And it would be justifiable because Aaron Judge is a star. So just like we have to give up top prospects for stars, other teams are going to have to give up top prospects for our stars. It's only fair. So Correa was open to the Yankees, but and I do think that was like Boris's posture there too. They're trying to get a longer one out of the Yankees. So because they're one of the few teams that could pony up for it. But I think his market was a little bit more limited than maybe expected. And I don't even know if that $300 million offer from Baltimore was legit. I don't think anybody does. It's just speculation. And I don't know how much bigger the second offer was from Houston either. So we just don't know. But, it's still smart that he'll have the opportunity to get back out on the market next offseason if he has a good year and take advantage of it. So I do think Bumgarner probably gets traded. And I don't think Judge is a $300 million player, Blue Gold. I don't. But somebody could be crazy enough to give it to him, to get him away from the Yankees. Torres have on some numbers while he's playing second base for a lot better than DJ's. I would not consider trading DJ now. DJ's a more consistent player, better defender. And Torres' numbers in a less than a month sample size is not enough. DJ batted 360. He had won a batting title. He batted 330 and 360. Torres' numbers over 3 weeks are nothing compared to DJ's numbers. We can't use that. I don't think it's a fair sample size. I don't. But again, if Torres has a great year and he stays here, awesome. Awesome. So I just don't think, I think it's a fair comparison. Can't let Severino pitch over 100. No, I don't think he should pitch 150. He hasn't pitched that many. He hasn't pitched that many in like 3 years. So what I'm not going to throw him to the wolves. I don't think it's a smart idea. And he couldn't even handle his rehab last year. He got hurt again. So this is what I'm talking about. Having him in long relief and building up and bringing in more starters so you don't have to worry about a guy like Severino, because if he goes down and they didn't make any moves, they're in trouble. You know? RJD, thank you. I appreciate that. The opinions are opinions. Again, like, everybody has their views on stuff. I welcome views. As long as everybody's respectful to each other, it's all good. So we all have different lenses that we look through this stuff. So, but I try to keep it realistic. And again, live on planet Earth. You know what I mean? Let's see. Richard Rodriguez. Yeah, I mean, he'd be a nice get for the bullpen, Richard Rodriguez. I would definitely consider him. So, Yankees left so many people in scoring. Yeah, they were 27th out of 30 knuckleball and leaving runners in scoring position. Terrible situational hitting. Too many strikeouts with guys on base, right? Terrible base running. That's why some of the moves that they moved, they've improved their speed. They improved their plate discipline. So it addresses a lot of these things. That trade with Minnesota is like an analytics dream. So, and it had analytics written all over it. So they addressed a bunch of these issues just with that trade alone. Getting Correa would not have done all that. Getting Freeman would not have done all that. This is what I'm talking about. Like, the Yankees' needs are not the same as other teams' needs. And again, they had a boatload of holes, right? 6 or 7 positions they need to fill. It's not like 2009. They had like 2 or 3 holes. They filled them with top guys. They won the World Series. They have so many more holes to plug in now. So many more. So, and that's the thing. John Mack. Yeah, crime's not really a worry, John Mack. A lot of the Yankee players don't live up in Washington Heights. They live in Connecticut, New Jersey, stuff like that. So crime's not really an issue when players don't want to come here. Traffic, yes. High taxes, yes. COVID protocol, well, that's only an issue for unvaccinated players. So it's not an issue for vaccinated players. So, but, that's that. So, but yeah, exactly. I mean, kind of fluff a contact hitter, bringing him in knuckleball. I think he was a good idea to get him. Why do I say Judge is the $300 million guy? Because he doesn't stay healthy all the time, Jeffrey Rose. He hasn't had 2 consecutive seasons, full seasons of being healthy when he's great. When he's healthy, he's great. But he's not better than Bryce Harper. He's not better than, he's not. So, he's a star, but he has trouble staying healthy. Plus, he's on, Bryce Harper and the guys that got $300 million got him in their mid-20s. Judge is going to get it and start at 31. That's a huge difference. Bryce Harper got his contract at 26. Machado at 25. That's a big difference. Corey Seager, I didn't think he was a $300 million guy, but he got it and he was 26 or 27 years old. Judge is at 31. The age factors here. It definitely is a factor. His talent level, yes. When his upside is ridiculous, but if he can't stay healthy, then that's a problem. That's a problem. So, and it's unfortunate because I like Judge, but I think the Twins get Montez as well. What are the Yankees doing? Nor are the great. Yeah, they could get Montez. If they get Montez, I think the Yankees get Manea, and they'll get someone else as well. I'm just waiting for something out of Cashman's hat because this is definitely one of the things where he's really quiet. I didn't think Luke Voigt was going to get traded to the Padres, but he did. So I'm reserving judgment on that. And if the Twins get Montez, that makes him more formidable, no doubt about it. If they do, they do. But then again, there's no guarantee. The Yankees were going to pony up with the A's one. They still want a ransom for Montez too. And the Twins are going to have to give up some pretty heavy capital for Montez. And they don't have a great farm. So a lot of free agents handcuffed by lockout and short spring. Yes, that's another thing too, Sean Bryan. We do have a shortened spring training. So and it's going to take a while to get these guys signed. We had a 3-month lockout. So can't be blaming Cashman for that and other GMs. We can't. No. Lockout sucks, but it's not like they had the entire winter to get all these things done. Andrew Miller, yeah, I liked him here. I don't know if he's He's definitely not the same guy, so I'm not exactly sure. I would bring in, a Rich Rodriguez or something like that. And I liked Andrew Chafin. I mean, he signed with the Tigers, so yeah, I don't see DJ being benched for Torres under any circumstances. Walk Penny. Wade and Velasquez just couldn't hit. Well, you're right. They couldn't hit. Barely breaking. They had speed and effort, and they did a lot of good things, but they couldn't really hit that much. So it was a little bit better than Velasquez. But again, when you don't play regularly, it makes it harder to hit. This isn't like Little League where you can miss a month and then come back and hit kids. You're having to hit against Justin Verlander and Max Scherzer, guys. It's one of the hardest things to do in the world. So if you don't play regularly, it's really, really hard to take advantage of non-regular playing time. So, do I think the Yankees sign Story? I said this, if they give him a similar contract for at least $25 million a year with opt-outs that Correa got, I think he'll come. Hot take, Judge to the Dodgers. I had some trade proposals. I had Judge to the Dodgers, Judge to the Padres, and Judge to the Mariners. If the Yankees offered him an extension and he turned it down, my trade to the Dodgers would have been, I think, pretty good. But he could go there. But again, this is why it's so critical to offer him an extension before the season starts. So, Luden, did I miss a super chat? I didn't even see it. I'm sorry, man. My apologies. Let me see. There it is, Luden. Thank you very much for the super chat, Don. I appreciate that. The Manchi, like the longest yard. I love it, Luden. I love it. Dude, I love that. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate you. Fernando, have a great night. Thanks for coming by, man. Spending some time with us. Nah, it doesn't feel like we're doomed. One of the things that's hardest for the Yankee fans to do, I think it's important to acknowledge that we're spoiled too. As fans, we had a great team for a long time, and we get impatient, as do I. And we always want the Yankees to do everything, but they can't. That's the thing. What was my trade proposal for Judge for the Padres? It was, if I'm not mistaken, C.J. Abrams, Luis Camposano, and another pitcher or another prospect, or it was Mackenzie Gore, Luis Camposano, and another. It was 2 top 5s, and then someone else, like a top 10 in there. And the Dodgers one was Gavin Lux, who now doesn't have a position with the Dodgers. Lux, Brusco Gratterall, and Dustin May. So, Gregory, did you send a super chat too? They're not even coming through here. What the heck? Putin. My apologies, Gregory. Let me go back and find it. Hang on. Gregory, thank you very, very much, man. I appreciate that. Sorry for missing it. Sometimes it doesn't even pop up on the screen because it scrolls by so fast. $2 super chat. Thank you very much. You and Luden, I appreciate you both. Luis Hill ready for the rotation. He's ready to, I think, in my opinion, to compete for the number 5. And, and keep, and again, he's young. He's 21, I think, to keep building that arm strength. And, it's important to build up that arm strength. So, but I like his makeup. I like what he's got. So, Royals won't trade Perez. He's a franchise over there right now. And he just signed a massive extension. MJ Melendez, though, who's blocked by him as their top catching prospect, he's a guy I would go after. I see how Khalifa's running to first before confident for his finishes. He's very humble. Yes, he's got good makeup. He's hustle. Yankees haven't had guys that hustle like Jeter for quite a while. This guy, he molds himself after Jeter in a lot of different ways, so that we need that, man. Yes, and the Yankees need to be patient, and I think Donaldson's going to be fine. Yeah, they assumed the $50 million in his contract, but it's over 2 years, right? And if he plays and he plays, gives us 25 home runs or whatever, and good defense, who's going to complain? And the reason why he took him is so they can get Kiner-Falefa and Rortvedt. So again, that was a package trade. So, and I like the deal. They got better. Was it enough? No. Obviously, they need to make more moves, but it was that trade made them better in a lot of different ways, a lot of the non-sexy ways. So, These trades are not enough for Judge. I don't think we should trade him. We should be a big mistake. Hold on, did I miss some Judge trades? I mean, Judge should get a contract. Oh, yeah, that would be lovely. Trust, I think he's going to get more than that. But I think if they got Dustin May, Bristol Gratterall, and Gavin Lux, that would be a pretty plentiful trade for Judge. Remember, Judge has 1 year left. He doesn't have 2 or 3. So he's not going to get, a Matt Olson type package. He's not going to get a Brian Reynolds type package. It's just, that's never going to happen. So where would Judge play in the Dodgers? I don't care. That's for the Dodgers to decide. He could DH. He could play the outfield. He could do, rotate between DH and the outfield. I don't know. But at that point, if an extension's not agreed upon, there's a couple of options. And I agree too, Jim Duggan. It's not the Yankee way, but if he's not going to take an extension, it's something that they have to do. Otherwise, you either let him walk or you drastically overpay for the guy at the age of 31. Not a smart move, in my opinion. Jansen signed elsewhere. Would you offer Chapman? Yeah, absolutely, FJ. Absolutely. I would right now, I would try to get Gavin Lux. Gavin can play infield and outfield. We need another outfielder, right? He bats, I think he's a switch hitter, or at least a lefty. And he's got 5 controllable years, and he does not have a position right now in the Dodgers. Now the Freeman's there because you have Muncy at second, you have Trey Turner at short, Justin Turner at third. Like, he has nowhere to play. And if you offer, let's just say Chapman and a good prospect over there or two to try to get a Gavin Lux here, it kind of addresses the need for that spare outfielder, somebody who can rotate around the field as well, and give rest days to the regulars too. So it's just a thought, but you can add someone else there too. But to me, it would be something to consider. Do I have another Big Mac apple pie and the Yankees get? If the Yankees get Story and Montez, I'll do another Big Mac apple pie, Dominic. Yeah. Luden, I'll do that, man, Dominic. Luden, Gratterall, May, what do you think? Gratterall, May, and Lux? Jays will not trade to a division. Yeah, I don't think they will. Not at this point. The Jays want to win. They definitely want it. Peraza is close to being ready. I think his defense is major league ready, and his bat's not that far behind. Albert Pujols' contact at the end is hurting. Contracted. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. Like, Judge's thing is going to be the same thing. Same thing. So, Crystal, Gonsolin, and May. I take that too. Luden, I would take that for Judge. Yes, sir. But Lux, I think, to me would be a nice versatile fit here. He's a young, controllable player. He's only 24 years old. Gives him that youth and athleticism and versatility that they're kind of missing right now. Buhner was awesome in Seattle. Junior Nega, that was a nasty lineup. How can we salary dump picks? Oh, God, Joey and Elliott, that's a good question. I think they're going to have to attach a good prospect and eat some of the salary. I think that's probably the only way they can do it, honestly. Would I entertain picking Trevor Power after the suspension? Nope. Not unless he's released. Because he's on a $30+ million contract that it was an option he picked up. So I don't know about the beef, but I wouldn't take that. I wouldn't take on that contract. I mean, if they're not going to pay for Story or Correa, then I don't think they're going to pay for Trevor Bauer, who comes with a heck of a lot more baggage than those guys do. That's the way I look at it. So if he got released and they can just pay the minimum for him, oh yeah, you take a flyer on him. So Lux defense wasn't. I mean, it's good enough. They have a good enough defense. So, and again, his versatility is key for the Yankees. He could be a super utility guy and still get a lot of playing time. So it's just a thought, but at that point, I would imagine they would have moved Torres as well. So Torres, I think, would have been packaged with Voit for pitching, but I still think he's going to – yeah, I think he's going to be piece for pitching. The only thing, I got to keep in mind that the A's – I don't think either one will be packaged to the A's because – maybe Torres, but I'd be shocked. You're going to have to give a more prospect-heavy package because they're looking to shed a lot of payroll. And Torres, who's going into his arbitration years now, he would be boosting their payroll. So, and I think they're looking to do the other thing. They're looking to get guys that are pre-arb for massive controllable years. So, but I do think he can get moved to Miami as part of a package for a pitcher. Miami's like a under the radar trade candidate, in my opinion, or trade partner. Left for the Yankees. They have mutual interests. Trevor Story and the Yankees. Yes. Just check and see if there's any updates here that we can report or update. Blue Jays that continue to pursue left-handed hitting. What about Michael Conforto to the Blue Jays? If they're pursuing left-handed hitting, that might be an option for them. Luden Yes Network is so crap. Yeah. I don't disagree. Do I think they're holding back on Judge's extension while they're dealing with the vaccine? Well, that's part of it, I think. Wink the Man 07. I do think that's part of it. And, because at the end of the day, like if he's not going to get vaccinated and this mandate's going to last for a while, you can't pay the guy a full year's salary if he's going to miss half the games and games in Toronto. So it's just, Eric Clarion, thank you so much. Luden, I'll get to your top 5 actors of all time. I know you blame Hal, but Cash put this team together. I mean, $250 million for this. If I were Hal, I wouldn't put up another dime. I blame both of them, Eric, but Hal, Hal's overruled Cashman on things, and Hank when he was alive too. So, and Cashman's working with what he's given. So they both share blame, in my opinion. But I get what you're saying. Totally get it, and I appreciate that Dono Super Chat, man. So both of them get blame, in my opinion. This is a very unbalanced team. Blue Jays' biggest weakness, probably bullpen. Probably. Luden, top 5 actors of all time to me: Denzel, Gene Hackman, Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, and somebody underrated, actually. Actually, no. That's a good one. I'm going to say Robin Williams. That's my 5. Michael Lowe, what's happening, dude? Diamondbacks signed Wilmer Defoe. Yeah, to Miners contract. I just saw that too. Denzel Brando. Yeah, Pacino and Jack Nicholson, Jimmy Stewart. It's hard, but Denzel is like, he's awesome, Denzel. He's the man. Is Aaron Judge vaccinated? As far as we know, he's not, John Talento. He's not. Feel bad for Oakland sports in general, losing the Warriors and the A's fire. So yeah. It's tough. I mean, it's tough. Robin Williams is gifted, man. How are they aggressively trying to move on Andujar? Yeah, I mean, they're trying to move Andujar too. I think they realize they're going to have to just probably take a prospect for him or something like that. Andujar's also, they would clear a couple million off the books. But at the end of the day, I think they move Andujar too. Daniel Day-Lewis is another one. It's hard to do 5. I would have to do like 10, I think. And in terms of actors. Because Morgan Freeman, yeah, I mean, Hanks. Like, there's a lot of them. I think 10 is probably a better list. We're unspoiled as Yankee fans. It's high expectations it is high expectations every year. Absolutely, Kirsch. I think it's a combination. We're spoiled and they're at higher expectations. So I think they're both, but they're definitely high expectations in Yankee world. No doubt about it. I think Jacob deGrom is not vaccinated either. If he's not, then he's not going to be able to pitch in New York. Is Story coming to New York? Yeah, I mean, it's, I think if he gets a similar contract that Correa gets, but maybe a 25 a year with opt-outs, he'll probably come. DiCaprio's a brilliant actor too. I mean, a lot of guys. I mean, like, what the hell's his name? I gotta get there. I forgot the guy from played Capote. He was in Boogie Nights. Philip Seymour Hoffman, is that his name? Philip Seymour Hoffman. Tyler Talbot, thank you again, brother, for that super chat, man. Judge to the Dodgers for Gratterall, May, Gonsolin, Lux, Diego. I don't think he's gonna get that much. If you can pry Diego Cartaya, he's their number 1 prospect, and he's a catcher. If you can get Cartaya, and like Gratterall. Those two guys would probably be enough. I don't think the Yankees would get that much. I would be shocked. Let me put it that way. And again, these guys are pretty much all prospects. So, but May's coming back, coming off Tommy John, Gonsolin. Gratterall's a beefy part of that bullpen. So, if they can get that for Judge, you have to move Judge for that package. You have to. Yeah, Tyler. Yeah, I would do it. It is annoying to see other teams' fans making, other teams making moves. Philip Seymour Hoffman, yeah, he's how Cashman gets a pass. I mean, 33 million and 2 bullpen arms and Hicks deal. Since when did the Yankees start counting pennies? Hal's the one counting pennies, not Cashman. And again, Cashman's probably doing what he can, because I said this before, Eric. Not everybody wants to come here, so his list gets shorter. He doesn't have like anybody and everybody, so people turn down offers from the Yankees and they say no to them. So he goes after the top guys, but like, yeah, that's all I can say. Modelo for my online. Well, I do live streams every Saturday night, Modelo. I don't think the Yankees will do something tonight. I'd be surprised, but you never know. I mean, Correa broke overnight last night, so I'm anxious for a big pitching move too, Modelo. I'm with you right there, brother. I am with you 100%. Rizzo really vaccinated? It sounds as if he might have. So I don't think the Yankees would have signed him to this deal had they not checked that out already, or something hadn't been worked out for him. So, I think he's okay. I'd be more concerned with Judge. Trevor Story's going to be, it could be, but if he doesn't go to the Red Sox, I wouldn't be surprised, because he doesn't want to play second base and they already have a shortstop, Xander Bogaerts. So, I'm Rangers, Stephen Walker. I'm Rangers, Knicks, Yankees, Jets. Tommy Lee Jones is another one. Brilliant. Love Tommy Lee Jones. Sidney Poitier is another monster and actor. He's so many of them, man. And he's a late 60s pitcher. I remember there's also Joe Urbanic on that squad. We need a catcher, Benji. Yes, we do. Jake Gibbs. Wow. I seen Story working out last month. His arm looked fine to me. Good. Well, that's a good thing, Richard, man. That's good. Our catcher has a grade 1 strain of his oblique. So you guys are going to sign Trevor Story tomorrow. That would be nice, John, if that was true. I hope it is. Big Yankee trade for Happ, Contreras, and Hendricks. I mean, if you can get Ian Happ, Wilson Contreras, and Kyle Hendricks, that'd be a nice trade. You get your number 2, you get another catcher, and you get a versatile position outfielder. So could be the 4th or 5th outfielder. That's a trade to consider. Depends on what they're going to give, but I think a package for those 3 would be less than the package for Oakland. So Marlins pitchers, Pablo Lopez would be the guy to go after. Like, I would forget about Trevor Rogers or what's the guy on Patara. They're not going to trade those guys. Ramon Laureano would be nice, but he's on a 60-game PED suspension. So that's a problem. They're not going to give up guys for a guy that's only going to play a portion of the games. Harrison Ford, another genius. Do you think they'll fit someone else beside? Yeah, I think they will. They have to now with Warfare injured. Rob Brantley's not going to cut it. Yankees are old, and Hal, Brian, Aaron are boring. Unfortunately, that's true. Yeah. Adam Sandler. What I do, I teach martial arts. And I have several YouTube channels also. The thought of letting Judge Milwaukee makes me crazy. Yeah, it does. But face of the franchise and they should name a cat. Well, I hear you, Wink the Man 07. The thought of letting him walk for nothing makes me cringe. That's why. But it makes it more palatable to me if he trades if you offer them an extension, he says no, you trade him for a package in return. I have no problem with that. But yeah, letting him walk for nothing would suck. Absolutely suck. Sidney Poitier, yeah. Happ or Contreras for Cubs say they're not feeling Hendricks. And I could see too, Michael, why? Because they're trying to add starters. to that rotation, like Marcus Stroman. They're trying to add to Hendricks, so I could see them holding on to Hendricks, but I could see Wilson Contreras coming here now. Malkovich is another. Yeah, I saw Mané got beat up pretty good today. Mr. In Between, I've never seen that. Salarino third. You upset Yankees trade? Yeah, I am not upset, AJ. No, I mean I'm a little bummed out by Gio, but I'm not upset because of the return they got, and they improved in a lot of areas. So, do I think Boone is a bozo? I don't. I mean, there are things I think he can do better, but I think he's kind of hamstrung a little bit by Cashman and Hal too. So, Sean Connery, most definitely, absolutely, Sean Connery. Even Kevin Costner, he's a great actor too. But Connery's a legend. Do I think grade 1 strain can take about 4 or 5 weeks? People are saying 3 to 4 months. That's not going to take 3 to 4 months. So, but they need some catching depth. Most definitely. Tony McGuire, who is that? If you're saying Toby, get out of here, man. Hirsch Rounders, pay that man's money. Repeat. Rounders, a great movie. Ron Swoboda, wow. Raul number 27, thank you for the super chat, Tony. I appreciate that. I have a gut feeling J Ram gets moved before opening. Where do you think he gets moved to, Rahul? I know there's been speculation about Toronto, but where do you think he gets moved to? I mean, that would be nuts if he got moved. But the Guardians have 2 years on him. He's a superstar. I don't think they're gonna re-up with him because he's gonna cost a boatload of money. So where do you think he gets moved to? Oh, Gandolfini. Yeah, I love Gandolfini. I met him at a Jets-Giants game. He sat. I went with my uncle Jim to a Jets-Giants game out in MetLife, and he sat right in front of us in the 30-yard line. He was in the second. He was in the first row. We were in the second row. He's a big Jets fan. He had his big Carhartt coat and skull cap. He was the coolest guy ever. What I think of the Bryant signing, not trade. Bryant with the Rockies, yeah, I think he just went with the money, and then and it's going to boost his offensive stats, and I'm happy for him. But Colorado's a bit of a peculiar choice for me. I thought he may have gone to Philly or something like that, but it is what it is. Musgrove being I don't know. Maybe, Joe. Maybe they have a lot of starters over there. Yeah, there are some things about about Correa's back that have been issues. So, would Hal hire AJ Preller to replace Cashman? I don't know. I mean, I don't know if would be available, but he might. Clooney's solid. Yeah, rest in peace, James Gandolfini, man. He's a good dude. He was really good. He was a great guy. New Rounders with Jessica Chastain. Her dad, bodyguard, guy loving Whitney. Udall, love it. They're both. I mean, I still levy blame to Hal and Cashman. Can I train you in martial arts? You'd be like, yeah, man, I can Mr. Miyagi you, man. Torres to Kansas City. I could see that happening. I don't know what they would get for him, but I think Kansas City's trying to compete. I mean, they just got Amir Garrett from the Reds. So, but I mean, they have some prospects that are tradable at this point. If you're not going to trade Torres for pitching or in a package of pitching, you get some decent prospects back and keep boosting the farm. So, no pitchers besides A's, Reds, and Marlins. There are, but we don't know who Cashman's talking to. So he always pulls something out of his hat. So there are other pitchers, the Pirates and other teams, but we just don't know. Donald Sutherland's a great actor too. James Earl Jones, another legend. J Ram to the Jays or the Rays? The Rays. You know what? I could see that. Either one would suck for the Yankees, but I could see that, Raul. They both have what it takes to get them. Yeah, Jansen signed with the Braves yesterday. Yep. Timothy Chalamet. Yankees didn't do anything this offseason but improving their salary. Carlos, they got better in some areas, but again, just because they didn't sign the big superstars doesn't mean they didn't get better. So, but again, that's my opinion. Why are we taking so long for a pitcher? What's going on? I don't know. I mean, they're probably negotiating. The price is really high. And, Cashman probably doesn't want to pay a ransom. So that's probably it. Yeah, I'm going to do an opening day stream. No doubt about it, Adam. Yeah, I'll be doing that. Most definitely. Rays use that pitch by committee approach several times. Yeah, they do. And they also have, a lot of power arms. But that trade that the Yankees made for Voit for this power arm, that's like a Rays type trade. A big arm, But the Rays did lose Nelson Cruz, so they lost a good chunk of offense too. I know they brought in Corey Kluber and some other guys, but that's what they do. They have a lot of depth. J-Ram to the Yankees would be crazy. I just don't know where he would play. Now that they have Donaldson, they have him. Where would he play? Who are your top 5 martial artists? Action film stars? Bruce Lee. That's a good question. Bruce Lee. Some of the more commercialized ones, like Chuck Norris and Seagal in his olden days, Van Damme in his olden days. Even though Van Damme he's like a black belt and Shotokan, he's not as highly credentialed as some of these other guys. But Jeff Speakman, guy from The Perfect Weapon, was good, and there's a couple other ones. But Bruce Lee's my guy. What movies do I see the Rays do? I could see them doing like a Conforto type move. I could see that. I could. Dodgers are extending Trey unless they get Correa. Yeah, that's the other thing too. Another reason why they have this. So like this, Trey's a free agent next year too. And unless they extend them beforehand, then there's going to be Trey and possibly Correa going out on the open market if Correa plays well. So, and then again, obviously the Dodgers will, if they don't extend Trey, they might get Correa, which leaves Trey as an option for another team. So, that's another. Trey's a stud too, and he's young. So, being a horror fan, I thought you just said Robert Englund. My favorite horror actor? Robert Englund and Kane Hodder. Kane Hodder. He's the only guy to play Jason more than once in the Friday. He played him 4 times. Only person to ever play Jason more than once. He's a professional stuntman, but he revolutionized the character of Jason in Friday the 13th. Thurman Munson. I love Munson. I will go to a Yankee game, Kevin. Yeah, I want to go to a couple this year. Legend Suite sounds awesome, dude. I appreciate that. Cheaper payroll. What did you say, Eric Clara? Can you give me some reasons you blame Hal if you went to your boss and asked for more money for players? If I were Hal, I would say give you $250 million. How many teams are there better? How many teams are there better with a cheaper payroll? Let's see who won the World Series. Braves. Solid payroll, not the highest, but Dodgers, highest payroll in baseball. Red Sox, multiple championships, highest payroll several times. And again, the Yankees, once in the past 14 years have they had the highest payroll. So just once. And yes, their payroll's high, no doubt about it, but that's what I mean. And it's a mismanaged payroll. So not all moves hit, but then again, aside from the Red Sox, they've won, 2 World Series in the past decade? World Series has been kind of floating around everywhere. So payroll is one thing. Teams get lucky sometimes. But how many championships have the A's won with a low payroll? Since Moneyball. The Rays? 0. So the low payroll teams are not winning World Series either. So this is multiple ways to look at it, Eric. Multiple ways to look at it. But the fact is, Hal approves these things too. So, and again, he's also crying poverty when it comes to adding the right players. And again, that's the thing too. Spending money is one thing. Adding the right players is another thing. So Cashman, yeah, he's a GM, but you think Hal's not involved to any capacity at all? He is. He's not just sitting there saying, call me when it's done. He's involved. This is his business. So how involved, we don't know. But yeah, They have a better analytics department now. They've been drafting better, developing better. And this is one reason why in the last couple of years, that's why they want to bring in Volpe and some of these other guys, because they haven't had players or prospects this highly touted in like a decade. And they want to infuse these guys in now with some of these more expensive players to kind of lower the financial hit, to put them in a position where they can actually be competitive and get to the World Series and win the World Series without having to be at the very top. It's unfortunate, but that's just the market that the Yankees are in. And again, Yankees have to pay more than most teams do. Like a Florida or Texas, where there's no state tax, the Yankees have to pay more to offset that. So again, I said it earlier, if somebody gets $150 million in Texas or Florida, they're going to get 175, 180 for the Yankees. It's just that's the way it is. Same thing with the Mets. So there's a lot of different perspectives on this, Eric, but I know what you're coming from. But the cheaper payroll, I mean, teams haven't won as much as you think they have. They haven't. You have to invest in this market, especially in a big market. You have to invest. Ship Hicks to Alaska. I get you, man. I hear that, bro. Hey, Brunson. Bauer's a top pitcher, and he should be pitching. He did nothing wrong. Well, he was criminally, cleared, so I don't disagree. But it's MLB that's making an example out of him, and they've already extended his administrative until April 15th. My guess is they're going to suspend him for something, so some conduct or whatever. I don't disagree, but he does come with baggage because of this stuff and being just outspoken. I don't mind the outspoken thing. I don't mind that because that's his right to just to say things that he feels. But this thing is an ugly. This is a situation where the perception is actually worse than reality, because the reality has already been clear, but the perception has this stink on him. You know what I mean? So, and it stinks. It stinks. But again, financially, the only way the Yankees, if I were the Yankees, go after him is if he was released, and then I would get him at the minimum. I'm not paying $25-30 million for him because it could turn into a nightmare. If I met A-Rod, would I say to him? I don't know. That's a good question, Thomas. That's a good question. I mean, I would honestly ask him, like, what was the best part about playing for the Yankees? I want to know. Mr. Yankee, I'm not embarrassed to be a Yankee fan. I'm not. Yankees are trying to beat our competitors by being smarter than them instead of using the most powerful thing you can. Exactly, big boy. And they get chastised for, wanting to be creative and be a little bit more disciplined with the money instead of blowing money after everybody. So, because again, spending hundreds of millions on Correa and Freeman and everybody else would not have guaranteed anything. Nothing. So, Cashman is up. So we'll see. I'd be curious to see if he does get re-signed as GM. I'd be curious. If you can move Chapman to the Dodgers, that would be a good consideration, especially now that Jansen's gone. I don't know if they'll do it, but Yeah, exactly, John. Being a GM, especially a GM of the Yankees, is not an easy job. It's not an easy job. Cole, Bauer, Sevy would be ridiculous. Yeah, it'd be great. But again, I don't know. They're going to have to get past that ugly situation with the Dodgers first. At least it's an ugly situation with the Dodgers and not here with the Yankees. So I don't envy the Dodgers' position at this point right now. You're right, why he didn't throw himself into the front of the bullet that hit Jeter and the other guys. You protect your captain. It's a good question, Harvey Dodd. Was he on the team then? Yeah, he was. That's a good question, man. You shot Jared Jeter, you dick. That was a funny movie. That was a funny movie. Are they trading Torres? I believe Torres can get back to that 38 home run season. I won't give up on him. I think he's going to get moved for pitching probably, or some prospects. That 38 home run season was like 3 years ago, so I'm not exactly sure. I'm really not sure. Michael, would it be nice? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, I think he probably gets moved because there are other things, his lapses in focus and hustle. Like there are things that have really backfired on the Yankees that offset the appeal of that 1 year of big home runs. But I get it. I totally get it. Bauer's going to get I think at some point he probably will, but I think he's going to endure a suspension of some kind. Do I think it's necessary? No, but that's how these guys do it. No. What made me think apple pie? I was Thomas. It is a good combo. It adds a sweetness to the burger. It tastes delicious. Personally, I was in McDonald's one day a bunch of years ago, and again, this is a once a year thing. I don't do this on a regular basis. I eat clean and I work out like crazy. So I had them both there, and I'm like, I felt lazy. I think I'm like, what? I don't want to like eat them separately, so I'm just gonna put it in the Big Mac. And I tried it, and it was all downhill from there. It's phenomenal. Whoppers or Big Macs all day. McDonald's fries all day. Next time, should have shot it. Goose Fraba. Jeter and Clemens, right? In anger management. Remember that one? Holtzman took off for Rosh Hashanah. Yeah. Bauer has 2 different women in 2 different cities with similar claims. His legal trouble. Yeah. This is the thing. It's not a situation I would want the Yankees to be in, and I don't envy the Dodgers having to be in the situation either. So I just don't. It stinks. So MLB has 0 reason, but he's still. Yeah, I mean, Richard. He has some legal stuff still. He's been criminally cleared, but there's some other people with claims that could just turn ugly at any point in time. So, like, I get both perspectives. It's an ugly situation, which stinks. It really stinks. So, and I wouldn't want to saddle the Yankees with that unless it was completely resolved. How many times I work out a week and a half and you have a cheat meal? Cheat meal like that once or twice a year. I'll work out from 4 to 5 days a week or something like that. A combination of functional and strength stuff and Olympic list plus martial arts training. So something like that. Glaber's home runs like Luis Gonzalez from 50 for, yeah, exactly. It's like, what's his name? Brady Anderson hit 50 the one year and then never went above like 20 after that. So I think there was a fluke, that Glaber Torres thing. So I think of the favorites right now in the National League, the Braves, again. American League, probably either the Blue Jays or Seattle or the White Sox right now. Yeah. Calling it right now. I'm calling it tonight, folks. Kyle Gibson, thank you for spending some time with us. Have a wonderful weekend. I'm going to wrap it up shortly as well. Bernie Williams, not a Hall of Fame. His stats just fell short, I think, Thomas. I think they just fell short. So, he's a great player, though. Great player. Start eating salmon. Stay away from beef. I eat a combination. I'll eat some red meat, lean red meat. I eat fish. I eat raw fish. I eat poultry. I eat a very balanced meal. And but I do eat a decent, but not a decent. I eat sometimes red meat. I don't eat red meat all the time. Can I live stream your next martial arts training? I'll try, Kevin. I'll try. Let's see what I can do. If we get Story in the picture, Montez, I might do the challenge with you. Let's go, Tyler. Let's go. Let's go, baby. Kevin and Thomas are the new Owen and Castellanos. Yeah. A lot of baseball writers have Anthony Yankee. Yeah, some do, Sean. That's right. David Ortiz got in the Hall of Fame even as a cheater because people loved him. He was a very fun-loving guy, had a great personality, and made people overlook that stuff. He really did. And people didn't really like Clemens. And that's one reason why he didn't get enough Bonds. People hated Bonds. He made it out of, went out of his way to be an a-hole to people too. So what do you make of all this unguaranteed deferral and Freddie's kind of, it's only, it's like 20 something million of deferral. He's got 140 and then it's 22 million, I think it is, of deferral. And that's just a way of stretching out payroll for the Dodgers. And they did the same thing. The Nationals did the same thing with Scherzer as a way of lowering the payroll hit on an annual average. So teams do that. Some do. Jason, have a great night as well. Thank you. Steak is my red meat of choice. So is mine, ribeye with chimichurri. I don't eat it all the time, but I like it. But again, I like raw fish, sushi, salmon, clean stuff, scallops. I get a lot of my protein from beans and eggs and some other stuff. So Cement is like, as soon as he said, "This is our effing city." Yeah, Brian. Yeah, he became a god in Massachusetts, in Boston that night. Yes, he did. feel like the Yankees hype up these young kids and they don't pan out after. Well, that's the thing. Like, who hypes them up? The networks, the reporters, or the Yankees themselves? Because I don't see the Yankees. I don't hear the Yankees doing it all the time. They talk about how good some of these guys are, but this is also the most robust farm that the Yankees have had in a long time. They neglected development and good drafting for like a decade, and now they're back to doing it. So some of these guys are definitely, I mean, if they have 4 top 100 prospects, they haven't had that many in a long time. Same to you, Bob. Thank you. I do not think A-Rod makes the Hall. Unfortunately, Benji. Nope. I don't. So, yeah, 4 top 100 prospects. They haven't had that in over a decade. So, but thank you guys for joining. I'm going to wrap it up as well. It's getting late. I think Jansen has a chance. Not yet, Silver Fox. A couple more years, maybe. So, but I think more people are happy that we didn't get Correa than the other way around. So, and I appreciate that secondhand noise. But thank you guys for coming on. I appreciate you. Anything else pops of significance, obviously, especially Yankee trade, I'll obviously put a video. But we'll go live if it's a big one for sure. Do I think Ichiro makes the Hall of Fame? First ballot, no doubt about it. But thank you guys for your time and your efforts and your support and your patience. Appreciate all the donos. Sorry that they skipped by me a couple of times. I hope I got everybody. But have a great weekend, everybody, and I'll talk to you next time. Peace.